we refer to them as TPAs.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I think for me, and certainly for our team, we believe that the primary consideration, and it is something that Mr. Wood would have said in his presentation, is this issue of trust. And I think that trust is something that perhaps if it had existed has been somewhat eroded, and if it hasn't existed, I think it's time for it to be created between the tax administration and taxpayers. And I think the tone of the transfer pricing agreement practice note that we've gotten, the tone of it is clearly one of cooperation, where there is now a great opportunity for taxpayers to see how best they can work with their tax administration, and for the tax administration to try and build or rebuild some of that trust that is necessary between the taxpayers and the tax administration. And for us, I think that's probably the best thing that would arise from this. So to the extent that persons are concerned that I'm not going to bear all to the tax administration because I'm not certain what they will do with my information, and we understand that concern. The other thing underscored by Mr. Wood is that this is not an audit process, and we need to separate the typical audit procedures where there is that kind of intrusiveness, people feel that they're put upon and they really want to get rid of all of the scrutiny. It's an opportunity to see a different side of the revenue where you can form good and lasting relationships with these persons. Taxpayer support is also there in an effort to build that trust as well. And so I think, again, that is probably the hallmark of it from our perspective.
Thank you. What I would do is probably take you back a little bit to what usually entails transfer pricing in the past. I believe transfer pricing issues came up in Jamaica from in the 1970s. Now we have our bauxite companies. By the time you mine the bauxite from the earth, it is one price. By the time it ends up in the hull of the ship, it's another price. And of course, why we have our levy. The levy is a way out to address this transfer pricing issue in which Jamaica just was not getting their tax paid. And levy also for contractors, I think, is one of the transfer pricing issues. And anytime you see a levy is imposed, something to do with transfer pricing matters. Anytime at all you see there's any sort of tax arbitrage, meaning there's an advantage. Remember when we used to have two tax rates, companies is 33 and 30%, individual is 25%, and it's easy to do some sort of, transferring of profits. And I said something the other day, and I almost get myself in trouble with tax. And she's not here. I said that there was nothing in and of itself wrong with shifting profit. And I explained that shifting profit is a normal part of tax planning. But I do not agree with base erosion. Actually, we just raise the base so that internal revenue in Jamaica can't really get the effect here. This transfer pricing mechanism is a new phenomenon in Jamaica. And then this agreement, APA, an advanced agreement, is something that is now going to challenge our culture. Because as Ian said, that the message TJ is sending is that you can trust us. So we are here to we're going to discuss that, but we have to see that manifesting itself into practicality. So there's a challenge, and I hope we can probably help to someone what the hurdles that have to be dealt with to make this work.
Thank you, Mr. Doe. Good morning again to all. First, I must just comment on Mr. Doe's statement as far as relates to profit shifting. As Ms. Park had mentioned earlier, we believe that there is a nexus between value creation and the accounting for profits. Our position is that profits are to be accounted for where the value, the economic value has been created. So as long as those two things remain hand in hand, I'm in full agreement with Mr. Doe. Our position in terms of transfer pricing is that we believe that it is a win-win for both tax administration and the taxpayers. We are fully cognizant of the adversarial relationship when it comes to audit, and as such, to the extent that that can be eliminated or minimized, I think we're moving in a positive direction. But the crucial foundation for transfer pricing, as Mr. Wood was at pains to point out, is that it should engender an environment of mutual trust and cooperation. It is going to require, during the negotiation stage, disclosure, right? We have to have disclosure if we are going to be able to deliberate and come to a meaningful agreement. Because the practice note went on to state that to the extent that the agreement is based on material misstatements, it can invalidate that agreement. So we have to be cognizant of that. One of the most important elements of the transfer pricing agreement or an agreement is that it facilitates certainty for the taxpayer. You are able to plan your activities because you are aware of the tax costs to some extent in respect of the transactions that are covered under the agreement. So we have very positive advantages. There's always some risk associated with any long-term agreement, given the fact that there might be changes in economic circumstances, changes in critical assumptions, but it's nothing that we can get over. Thanks.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. First of all, let me commend TAJ on hosting this seminar. It's very, very important in terms of public education and awareness around this very important area of transfer pricing. And in particular, a transfer pricing agreement mechanism is a key part of any comprehensive transfer pricing regime. I don't think any of you will be surprised that transfer pricing is not an exact science, and therefore that gives rise to a lot of scope for dispute, particularly in the course of the audit process. And therefore the opportunity to come to the tax authorities, have a negotiation in good spirited, hopefully a non-adversarial way, which is clearly the approach that TAJ is advocating. That's a very important path to be able to follow. We're obviously at an early stage in this. The legislation has been on the books, the mechanism has been articulated. At this stage, I don't think we're at a stage where the taxpayer has negotiated TPA. And I think if I ask the question is, you know, where will we be in a year's time or 2 years' time? Will we see lots of TPAs, or will we still be waiting for somebody to break through the surface and go for an advanced pricing agreement? I think there are a number of things. First of all, as Mr. Wood had pointed out, this process is not for immaterial transactions, because the reality is that you need to, for a taxpayer to go into a TPA process and to negotiate, you have to be very prepared. There's a lot of groundwork to do. Don't underestimate the groundwork. You don't want to be going in and then find your, as we say in Jamaica, on the back foot and having to try to do a lot of research and whatever. You need to be properly prepared. And that takes resources, both internal as well as obviously to the extent that we need assistance from external advisors. So it's clear that you really should focus on material transactions. And also you should look at the risk profile of transactions as well, which I can discuss further. But I think in terms of whether we will see people going into this TPA process is going to depend in part on the resource constraints that a lot of taxpayers in the Jamaican business community have, and their level of preparedness. The way I would look at it in the business community right now, I kind of split it up into kind of 4 categories. We have our extra-regional, outside the region, headquarters, multinationals. And those entities are pretty familiar with transfer pricing. They're operating in jurisdictions that have had transfer pricing for years. So you'll find that typically they have internal transfer pricing capabilities, that have done their studies, etc. So it's really a case of, for somewhere like Jamaica, a certain level of customization of what they've already done. So they're not starting from the beginning. The next tier then is really local and regional multinationals. So they're headquartered locally here in Jamaica or regionally. Because both locally and regionally we have not been familiar with a comprehensive transfer pricing regime before, it's relatively new. Clearly the level of preparedness and the work that has been done is different. Then we have, the next layer would be local, large taxpayers who don't have, cross-border presence. And then I guess the last would be the local and the SMEs, small and medium enterprises.
So may I ask you, Mr. Denny? May I just interrupt you and ask you to answer while you're at it for 1 minute? Let me talk a little bit about some of the concerns that might be raised by your clients in respect of the whole matter of record keeping and confidentiality. I hear the audience and I when we talk about trust. So talk a little bit about what is provided under the APA agreement and how it is that you're going to motivate your clients to ensure that they understand that their information presented to TJ will be kept confidential.
Sure. We would certainly, as a general, we would, not just for transfer pricing, but for tax matters generally, we would encourage taxpayers where they have issues to go and discuss it with TAJ and get it resolved, rather than have it addressed in the event of an audit in a more adversarial manner. The issue of trust, as has been touched on before, is obviously very, very important. Separate apart from getting over the issue of resource constraints to be prepared, one of the concerns that we hear back a lot is if we go down this process, what's the risk that we don't agree something and then there's, while it may be said and as part of the documents that this is not an audit process, the TPA process may not be an audit process and the team dealing with it may not be an audit process. But the concern that at some point that the issue then comes up and says, well, let's now, I can find that sometime later, 6 months later, TAJ come in and do an audit of prior years and start going after because they say, oh, there's a transfer pricing issue in this company. And it wasn't addressed. They attempted to come forward to us. We didn't like what we saw. We didn't come to an agreement. Or how are you going to deal with past years? And so I think there's a natural concern that while one might say the TPA process is separate and it itself is not an audit process, you know, are you going to maintain a total Chinese wall, as it were, between the persons involved in the TPA process versus the audit process, including the information that is provided? And you know, the reality that the concern is, well, even if all of that is done, that there isn't an informal kind of tip-off to say, oh, you know, you need to look at company X because we had they tried to come with to negotiate a TPA and
So
we weren't happy with. So those are, I think, those issues is to help to sell the TPA process. I think it's going to be a matter of kind of experience as taxpayers come forward and get a good experience and then share that within the business community. I think that will help together. Is that it's actions, not words, that really help to demonstrate that trust.
So let me ask Mr. Sinclair to take